Who really built the pyramids? Imagine the first light of dawn. It spills across the desert sands, a river of gold washing over the Giza plateau. The air is still cool, carrying the faint echoes of a timeless melody, an African vocal harmony that seems to rise from the very earth itself. In this sacred moment, the great monuments stand silhouetted against the rising sun. They are colossal, defiant, and shrouded in mystery. For centuries, humanity has gazed upon these structures and asked that one powerful question. How could mere mortals have achieved such a feat, reaching for the heavens with millions of stones, each weighing more than a car? It is a question that has puzzled kings and commoners alike, a testament to a power that seems to defy our modern understanding of what is possible. The sheer scale of the pyramids of Kemet, the ancient name for Egypt, is hard to comprehend. They are more than just tombs, they are symbols of eternity, perfectly aligned with the stars. Their presence on the landscape is so profound, so awe-inspiring, that it has fueled countless theories over the years. Some have looked at their geometric perfection and their astronomical precision, and concluded that human hands alone could not have been responsible. This has given rise to one of the most persistent and popular myths of our time. The idea that extraterrestrial beings descended from the stars to assist in their construction. This theory, often seen in films and television shows, suggests that the knowledge required was too advanced for any human civilization of that era. However, we must face a simple, powerful, and undeniable truth. The credit for these magnificent structures does not belong to beings from another world. It belongs to the brilliant minds and capable hands of the people of Africa. The pyramids were built by ancient black Africans. They were conceived, designed, and constructed using their own profound knowledge, their own incredible skill, and their own unwavering vision. To suggest otherwise is to ignore the overwhelming evidence left behind in the historical and archaeological record. It is to overlook the ingenuity of a people whose civilization was a beacon of light in the ancient world. The pyramids are a monument to African genius, not alien intervention. Let us be clear and unequivocal. The theory of alien assistance is not just a fanciful story, it is a distraction from the truth. It is a narrative that seeks to diminish a monumental African achievement. We must reject this myth firmly, and instead turn our attention to the real builders. They were the architects, the engineers, the astronomers, the quarrymen, and the laborers of the Nile Valley. They were a sophisticated people who mastered science and art, who understood the cosmos, and who possessed the organizational prowess to mobilize a nation towards a single, divine purpose. The pyramids are the ultimate evidence of their capabilities, standing as proud declarations of their power and their wisdom, etched forever in the stone of their homeland. The engineering behind the pyramids was a triumph of human intellect, rooted in practical science and meticulous observation. The ancient Egyptians, the people of Kemet, were masters of geometry. They understood angles, measurements, and proportions with a precision that remains astonishing. They used simple yet effective tools like knotted ropes to create perfect right angles, a method known as the 3-4-5 triangle. This allowed them to lay foundations that were almost perfectly level and square. Their understanding of mathematics was not abstract. It was a practical tool they applied to create structures that would endure for millennia, a physical manifestation of their command over the laws of the physical world. Their knowledge was not limited to the earth beneath their feet, it extended to the heavens above. The builders were expert astronomers, carefully watching the movements of the sun, moon, and stars. The pyramids of Giza are famously aligned with incredible accuracy to the cardinal points of north, south, east, and west. Some theories suggest that they used the constellations of Orion and others as a celestial map, mirroring the sky on the ground. This celestial alignment was not for decoration, it was deeply spiritual, connecting the pharaoh's journey in the afterlife with the eternal cycles of the cosmos. Their science and their spirituality were one and the same, intertwined in a worldview that saw divinity in precision and order. Many wonder how they moved the massive stone blocks, some weighing over 50 tons. The answer lies not in anti-gravity technology, but in clever physics and immense manpower. Archaeological evidence suggests they used wooden sledges, which they pulled over sand that was wetted to reduce friction. They carved the stones from quarries using copper tools such as chisels and saws, which they hardened through skilled metallurgy. They then transported these blocks along the Nile River on great barges before hauling them up enormous ramps to their final positions. It was a process that required immense strength, but more importantly, it required brilliant organization and a deep understanding of leverage, friction, and logistics. This was not the work of an enslaved, unthinking mob, as is often wrongly portrayed. It was the work of skilled craftsmen and dedicated laborers who were respected for their contribution. They lived in well-established communities near the pyramids, where they were provided with food, shelter, and medical care. Excavations of these workers' villages have revealed their bakeries, their breweries, and even their tombs. These were proud people, contributing to a national project that held deep cultural and spiritual significance. They were building a stairway to the heavens for their king and ensuring the prosperity of their nation. Their legacy is one of skill, dedication, and community effort. The genius of Kemet was not an isolated phenomenon. It was part of a rich tapestry of advanced civilizations that flourished across the African continent. To the south lay the powerful kingdom of Nubia, in what is now modern-day Sudan. The Nubians were not merely neighbors of the Egyptians, they were at times their rivals, their allies, and even their rulers, establishing the 25th dynasty that governed all of Egypt. The Nubians themselves were master builders, leaving behind more pyramids than the Egyptians, albeit smaller in scale. Their cities, like Meroe, were centers of iron production and trade, showcasing a sophisticated knowledge of metallurgy and commerce that made them a powerhouse in the ancient world. Further afield, the wisdom of other African peoples shone brightly. Consider the Dogon people of Mali, whose astronomical knowledge has baffled modern scientists for decades. Long before Western astronomers had the telescopes to see it, the Dogon possessed detailed knowledge of the star Sirius and its invisible companion, Sirius B. They understood its 50-year elliptical orbit and its incredible density. This knowledge was woven into the fabric of their cosmology and their sacred rituals, passed down through generations. How they acquired this information remains a subject of study, but it points to a tradition of deep astronomical observation and a sophisticated system for preserving complex knowledge across centuries. In the Horn of Africa, the Kingdom of Aksum, located in modern-day Ethiopia and Eritrea, rose to prominence as a major player in global trade. The Aksumites controlled vital trade routes linking the Roman Empire with the distant lands of India. They erected enormous stelae or obelisks carved from single pieces of granite, some soaring over 30 meters high. These monuments were incredible feats of engineering, quarried and erected to mark the tombs of their kings. Aksum was also one of the first empires in the world to officially adopt Christianity, and they developed their own unique written script, Ge'ez, demonstrating a culture rich in faith, innovation, and global connection. These civilizations, Nubia, Dogon, Aksum, and countless others like Great Zimbabwe, show that advanced knowledge was a widespread African heritage. They demonstrate that the brilliance seen in Kemet was not a fluke, but part of a continental tradition of excellence. These societies developed complex social structures, mastered difficult sciences, and created enduring works of art and architecture. They were centers of learning, spirituality, and technological innovation. To understand the pyramids, we must see them not in isolation, but as the most famous expression of a continent that was alive with intellectual and cultural fire, a land of scholars, kings, and visionaries. The myth of alien builders does more than just create a false history, it actively works to erase the true one. It is a subtle but persistent form of racism that cannot imagine or accept that black people could have achieved such greatness on their own. By attributing the pyramids to otherworldly forces, this narrative robs African ancestors of their rightful legacy of ingenuity, determination, and brilliance. It perpetuates the harmful and false idea that Africa's only contributions to the world were its natural resources, not its intellectual capital. We have a duty to challenge this myth, to tear it down, and to replace it with the truth of African achievement. We must reclaim the narrative. The foundation of Kemetic society, and the driving force behind its greatest achievements, was a profound spiritual and ethical concept known as Maat. Maat was the divine principle of truth, justice, balance, harmony, and cosmic order. It was the law that governed the universe, the gods, and humanity. To live according to Maat was to live a righteous life, to contribute positively to the community, and to maintain the delicate balance of creation. Building the pyramids was an ultimate expression of Maat, an act of creating order out of chaos and aligning the earthly kingdom with the divine cosmos. It was a spiritual undertaking as much as an engineering one. This spiritual legacy is Africa's gift to the world. It is a worldview that sees the sacred in the scientific, the divine in the details of everyday life. The knowledge of the ancient Africans was holistic, blending astronomy with theology, mathematics with morality, and engineering with eternity. They did not separate the physical from the metaphysical. This profound understanding gave them the purpose and the resilience to undertake projects of such immense scale and lasting significance. The pyramids are not just piles of stone, they are sermons in stone, speaking of a deep connection to the universe and a commitment to upholding its sacred order for all time. Therefore, when we look upon the pyramids today, let us see them for what they truly are. They are the undeniable proof of the brilliance of our African ancestors. Let us honor their memory by telling their story correctly. They were the masters of science, the artists of eternity, the architects of the sacred. They needed no help from aliens. Their power came from their minds, their strength from their communities, and their vision from their deep spiritual connection to Maat. The pyramids stand as an eternal testament to Black genius, a legacy of greatness that has endured for thousands of years and will continue to inspire us for thousands more.